The last few days of September were like ridiculous. It was fire for me. I was doing $500 to $600 days, shipping out 20 packages, which on a weekdays is about double, if not more, than what I usually ship out. In today's video, guys, we are going to be looking at my September stats, how I ended the month. Was I able to hit my goal of $10,000 gross revenue a month selling on Poshmark and Ebay? Part-time. Keep in mind, I only work 20 hours a week, and that includes social media, making YouTube videos, content, and my digital products. So I am spending roughly 10, maybe 15 hours a week on reselling activities. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys can follow my progress, as well as tips and tricks on how to make money reselling. Monday's video was a YouTube live. It was my birthday, and so I had a YouTube Q&A, lots of really great questions, and just an all around fun, great video to celebrate my birthday. So thank you for everyone who came out and wished me a happy birthday. Friday's video, we are going to be looking at how to make money selling bread and butter. You do not have to find BOLO brands. You can make money regardless of what you have access to. Not everybody has access to the same things, and I will walk you through how to make money selling bread and butter brands. Before we get into this video, this is filmed on Friday, October 3rd. Full disclaimer, it's a couple days old, but we will be looking at September data. If you're new to the channel, I do have a virtual assistant. I walk through my processes on a processes playlist. If you want to learn more about a virtual assistant, that is definitely one of the reasons I am able to make money and work less hours, because I do have virtual assistants drafting for me on eBay. The other thing, I sell mainly women's clothing, shoes, and purses. I do liquidations, bins, and thrift stores. I'm going to have videos coming out later this month as well on how my which sourcing spots in September has performed really well for me. So do make sure to hit that subscribe button. In today's video, we are going to be looking at my September goals. Did I hit my September goal? What was my end result? What were my ASPs? And kind of just an overall how September was for me, as well as my top 20. I'm sharing my top 20 gross revenue brands. It's going to be women's clothing, shoes, and purses mainly, but what brands brought me in the most gross revenue? And then I will be sharing some actual items that sold for me in September that contributed to these top brands. So let's first go into how I performed. If you guys are new to this channel, this is the Sarah Style Sales and Trends dashboard. There is a link down below, as well as a coupon code if you guys want access to your data as well. This is 28-day comparison. So essentially, because we're kind of in the beginning of October, how September performed compared to how August performed. Keep in mind, in August, the beginning of August, my children were still home, so I was working about 5 hours a week. So it makes sense that in September, once I started ramping back up to my 15, 20 hours a week, I am improving a little bit. However, you can see here, I ended on my best month ever. This is all of the black line is my gross revenue. The blocks are the teal blocks are the amount of items sold. I had my best gross revenue month, as well as my top performing items sold. I was up about $3,000 compared to August, sold 76 more items than I had in the previous time period. My average sale price is increasing. I am listing more items, so be mindful of that. I'll talk about a little bit about that in a minute, about reseller nirvana and why I start listing more items and how I can tell if it's working or not, and my sell-through rate. So if you're new to the channel, sell-through rate is how many items you've sold out of how many that you have for sale. In the past 28 days, I have sold 16% of the items that I have for sale. And what's interesting about this, people ask me, oh, what's a good sell-through rate? I always compare to myself. And so we'll look at some of my different sell-through rates and how that works, but then compare to the market. And if you look at eBay and Terapeak data, I have Terapeak videos on my channel in my eBay tutorials playlist. But if you look at Terapeak data, women's clothing, shoes, purses, the average sell-through rate is about 5%. So I am tripled that. So definitely excited about that. My sell-through rate is increasing as I am able to be working a little bit more. Now let's look at how my September actually ended. All right, so this is for September 2021. Guys, I do want you to be mindful that when I share this, these do not include returns typically. I do this in such a quick turnaround that I have not had time to go through and do my returns process. If you want to see full disclosure with my returns, with my expenses, with my tax holds, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I do share that information. I go through my profit and loss statement where we start out at gross and we take out cost of goods, shipping, fees, expenses, and then my tax hold. And that also takes out my return. So make sure to hit that subscribe button for this. This is just what I sold for the month. $12,000, y'all. That is the highest month I have ever had. I am just like mind blown. I cannot believe it. That puts me down here at 120% of my goal. Like I said in the beginning of the video, my goal is $10,000 a month. That's for 318 items I sold for the month. Average sale price for September is $37.97. And then my sell-through rate in the month of September, 15% of the items that I had available sold. I want to come down and look at this monthly average profit chart. You can see my average cost of goods is $8.72. Like I said, I do liquidation and thrifting and the bins. So the bins, my average cost of goods is $1.50, $2, depending on if I get more shoes. My average cost of goods for liquidation is closer to $11, $12, $13. If you've been following me, you can see my average cost of goods is slowly going down. I am thrifting more. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because I will get into how my September sourcing works because I do have a new strategy with thrifting more. I'm going to the bins a lot more than I had before. You can see it's definitely bringing down my average cost of goods, but what is it doing for my profit and my time? Is it worth it for me to go to the bin? So make sure to hit that subscribe button to see the results for September on that. You can see here too, listed items versus sold items. I listed 376 items and I sold 318 items. I have talked multiple times about reseller nirvana, Chris from Daily Refinement. I always want to achieve, that's kind of one of the metrics that I follow. If I am listing the same amount that I'm selling, you can see in this chart for September, if you've watched my other videos, that is slowly getting closer and closer. Probably by next month, if it's not about on par, I will start looking at my inventory. I'll start looking at my pricing, my comps. If I'm not at that reseller nirvana, then I'm going to start figuring out why. However, I usually give it about a month or two of listing more items before I start to really look at it and see if they're not the same, right? Because you need time to catch up. If I start listing more items, I'm not expecting more items to start selling right away. Just because I list 10 items does not mean all of those 10 items are going to be selling the same day that I'm listing. It typically takes a little bit of time for everything to catch up. All right, let's jump in and look at my top 20 gross revenue performing brands for the month of September. This again, we're still looking at the Style sales and trends dashboard. So like I said, there is a coupon code and links to purchase down below if you guys want to see this information for yourselves. What we're looking at now is going to be my top performing brands. I want you guys to be mindful of what we're looking at. So my top performing brands, let me bring this chart down just a little bit, make this a little bigger for you guys to be able to see this. We have the metrics that I'm looking at. We're looking at my sell-through rate and my average sale price. This is telling me my quote unquote BOLO brands. Up here means I have a high sell-through rate. Things are selling. This would be 100% of this brand is selling at a high average sale price. That is my BOLO, right? That's what I am aiming for. High average sale price, high sell-through rate. Obviously, that's not always the case. I'm going to go through and read you guys my top 20 brands, and then I'll go over my highest 5 based off of average sale price and sell-through rate and share those numbers with you as well. So here we go. Rebecca Taylor. That's going to be Liquidation pallet. So keep that in mind if we talk about average sale price. Free People, the majority of Free People is also going to be from a Liquidation pallet. And I do want you guys to be mindful too of the size of the bubbles. The bigger the bubble on this chart, the more that I have available. So it could be providing me a high gross revenue. I'm making a lot of money on that, but it's simply because I have a lot. And this is where sell-through rate comes in. So you can look here for Free People. My sell-through rate is still pretty legit for Free People, 16.03%. So that is above average. That's higher than if we come over here and we look at my monthly sell-through rate is 15%. So comparing to the market like I did before at Terapeak, but then also comparing to myself. My sell-through rate for the month was 15%. Free People is selling at 16%. So that is a little bit higher than my average sale price. That is a performing well brand for me as far as sell-through rate goes. Theory, that is going to be the majority of Liquidation as well. You guys can probably hear my dog barking. We got a little puppy, and you know how little dogs are. It's probably the wind or something. Rag and Bone, that's going to be mostly Liquidation, but then also some thrifted and the bins. I'm not even going to pretend to say this. It's a pretty fancy brand. I have one Liquidation. I'll be sharing this with you. Liquidation as well as a thrifted. What's interesting about a lot of these Liquidation brands like Rebecca Taylor, this one, even Theory, Liquidation new with tags in the current to previous current year, they're selling pretty well for me. As far as thrifted or bins, Rebecca Taylor, I've bought something thrifted from the bins and it sold, their silk shirt is retailed at like $350 and it sold for like $20. So just because it has a high retail MSRP does not mean that it's going to resell high. So definitely be mindful of that. Uggs, my UGG average sale price is definitely going down. It's $46. In previous years, it was closer to $60, but they're still selling. You can see 25% sell-through rate on UGGs. Definitely has to do with it being fall going into winter, right? But that's significantly higher than my sell-through rate for the month. La Vie, Rebecca Taylor, this is just, I think it's her higher brand maybe of Rebecca Taylor. Ideology, this again is one of the bigger bubbles, but my sell-through rate is lower. This is lower than my average. And it's all new with tags. It comes with Liquidation pallets. I wouldn't purchase it at a thrifted store. I probably wouldn't even purchase it outright, but it usually comes with some better stuff in Liquidation pallet. And it is selling, but it's mostly selling because I have a lot of it and it's really slow moving. If you come over here and look, you can see the average days on hand for Ideology is 250 days. It is a slow mover for me. Eileen Fisher, this is going to be a little bit of both, but it's mainly Liquidation as well. Frame is going to be a little bit of both, mainly jeans. The North Face, that's all thrifted, I think. I do have a little Liquidation palette from the North Face. I'm in Colorado, so I see a lot of the North Face. Stuart Weitzman, I am going to be sharing actual items that sold from this brand because it's all over the place. These also mainly are shoes I pick up, retail really high, but do not always sell resale value. American Eagle, y'all, this is a mall brand. And you can see over here, my American Eagle is 27% sell-through rate. What I'm purchasing from American Eagle, and you guys can look at some of my past videos. I'm not sharing them today, my past what sold videos, but what I'm sharing from buying from American Eagle is the majority of it is high-rise, distress, skinny mom jeans. All of those names, distress, frayed, all of the on trend. They are selling at a 27% sell-through rate, and they're selling at $27 on average. That's pretty legit for a mall brand. So do not overlook those bread and butter brands. Make sure to follow on Friday to learn more about how to make money selling mall brands. Not Your Daughter's jeans. This is also a lower mall brand type item. A lot of the Not Your Daughter's jeans for me, about half and half are going to be thrifted, and then the liquidation palette. I'm sharing actual items from that as well. Doc Martens, y'all. I love selling Doc Martens, and you can absolutely see why. It absolutely makes it into my highest performing brands. Calvin Klein liquidation palette. I do not buy this thrifted. It comes a lot of times with, I buy a palette and it has Theory and Vince and Rag and Bone and all of these amazing brands, and then they throw in Calvin Klein and they throw in some ideology. So it's definitely making me money. It's on my gross revenue brands. I would not specifically go out and source Calvin Klein though. Joye, I think, Joie. This is another one. MSRP is lit. Her stuff, retails $300, $400. It's not selling at that for me. We can look, it's selling around $50. This is new with tag stuff, selling around $50, 10% sell-through rate. So that's really not a great performing. I am making money on it because you can see it's a slightly bigger bubble. I have a lot of it. It did make it into my brands because of that. Would I specifically source this brand? Not in large quantities, maybe specific items. Adidas, this is liquidation as well as I'm purchasing Adidas at the thrift store. It's kind of retro Y2K, 80s, 90s is back right now. And Adidas has a lot of really iconic type of stuff as well. And then Danskos, y'all, I didn't use to source Danskos because I don't think they're very cute. But here we go. They are going to be giving me, let me find Danskos, 22% sell-through rate, higher than my average, at an average sale price of $34. I don't mind, so you can see in the American Eagle as well as in the Dansko, I don't mind having a little bit lower average sale price if my sell-through rate is going to be higher. For the majority of items that you have, it's going to be one or the other. You're going to have a high sell, unless it's a huge bolo, which you can see I don't have a lot of those. If we all had items that were selling throughout 100% and at a high average sale price, that's all we would sell and it would be easy to find. That's not typically the case. So you kind of have to decide if it has a lower average sale price, if it has a higher sell-through rate, it's worth me picking up. So now I want to share kind of my top 5 bolos with you, share the stats specifically with those for the sell-through rate and average sale price. And then I will be sharing actual items that sold from these top 5 brands that in this past month. So here you go. We're going to be looking at average sale price as well as average sale price as well as sell-through rate. Stuart Weitzman, $33 average sale price. So that is a little bit lower than my average sale price for the month. So that's not a great performer. However, 71% of my Stuart Weitzman has sold for the month of September. I'm pretty picky in what I pick up, and I'm going to show you guys actual items that I sold this month and talk a little bit more about those. So make sure to stay tuned. Doc Martens, y'all, like who doesn't love selling Doc Martens? They are definitely back in, showing you actual items that sold and what's contributing to this. But the vintage look, even if they're kind of destroyed, people still buy Doc Martens. So be mindful of that. 66% sell-through rate. Average sale price of $76.39. And now we have Not Your Daughter's Jeans, NYDJ. This is going to be a 57% sell-through rate. So of these 7 items that I had available, 57% of those sold at an average sale price of $39. Be mindful that I do have Not Your Daughter's Jeans new with tags. That is not going to be, and I'll show you guys a thrifted pair. That's not going to be what you're going to get for the majority of them thrifted, certain styles and brands maybe. And then we're going to come over here. This is going to give me a lower sell-through rate than kind of these top ones, but a high average sale price. And this is that fancy brand. I'm not even going to try and say, but you can see my average sale price here is $237. That is coming from a new tag item I will share with you in a minute. But even the thrifted, if you get in style current items, one item of this is thrifted and it still gave me, this average sale price of over $200 at a 50% sell-through rate. Be mindful and picky with this brand. Like I said, it sells at a high retail, but it isn't always flipping that high. And then I also wanted to share Vince. So Vince is going to be thrifted as well as liquidation, and I'll share with you guys in the actual items, but Vince is a 30% sell-through rate. So this is double my monthly sell-through rate and an average sale price of $87. Now let's get into the actual items that sold from those top 5 brands. This is Stuart Weitzman. I'm going to go through some of the Stuart Weitzman that sold for me and kind of tell you a little bit about all of them. The boots I'm finding are definitely selling higher, but even at this, these are $200, $300 boots and they sold for $33. They did sell the same day that I listed them on Poshmark. I did have them listed around $50. I listed them, they sold, or I got an offer for $33 the same day that I listed them. They had been on eBay for probably 5-6 months. So I decided to take that offer. Here we go. This is Stuart Weitzman. These are shoes. If you guys follow me sometimes, or if you guys are in the community, you'll see Greg from Rocky Mountain Resell. He sent me a reseller box. I paid for it, but he was like, hey, I have some women's clothing, shoes and stuff that I don't really want to list. Do you want it? And I think this was in there. If not this, another pair. There was definitely a couple of Stuart Weitzman, because I remember talking with him, like some of it sells high and some of it doesn't, and I can't figure out why. So you can see these. I'm actually really surprised these sold for $25. I sold their heels for $10, $15. The other thing you want to be mindful of, and I've been paying a lot more attention, is a lot of this brand comes in narrow or double narrow. So A or AA, these are B, that are going to sell a little bit higher. Most people are not a size A or double A, right? Or a width, right? So those are going to sit a little bit longer. Here's another pair. These sold again on Poshmark for $55. I bought these at the end of the month, and so, or at the end of spring or into fall. So I'm not surprised they sat for a little bit, but I posted them over to Poshmark and they sold. If you guys have been following me, you are probably curious. I have been cross-listing to Poshmark. I've been cross-listing to Poshmark using List Perfectly, and it's working. I am going to be doing a video. There's way too much to do in a wrap-up unless you want this video to be like an hour long. So make sure to subscribe to see how, and hit the notifications, how my Poshmark sales for the month of September ended. I will give you a little bit of a hint for watching this video. It was lit. It was my best Poshmark month ever. So make sure to subscribe. Cross-listing definitely was a strategy that works for me last month. All right, let's get back to those actual items that sold. These sold for $30. This was part of that Rocky Mountain reseller box. I know this one because we kind of talked about these. So these sold $33. Nothing crazy, but definitely are selling. That average sale price, or that sell-through rate, is pretty lit for me. All right, so these are not your daughter's jeans. These are new with tag. And I want you guys to be mindful of this. Some of my photos have stock photos and some of them don't. I only use stock photos if I have permission for them. It is illegal to be taking someone else's intellectual property, and all platforms technically say it is against the rules. Whether you get caught or not, and that's a risk that you're willing to take, that's up to you. I, however, am not willing to take that risk. So I do reach out to certain places and say, hey, can I use your stock photo? Sometimes I get ignored. Sometimes they say no. Sometimes they say yes. And so when you see stock photos on my what sold videos or in my closets and stores, that's the story behind my stock photos. These are new with tags, $150 originally-ish, and they sold for $39. They're a pretty consistent seller for sure. My sell-through rate was there, but not even new with tags, not super high. So these are a thrifted item, $16. So selling at over half of what they were selling before. I'm still trying to figure out, if you guys sell a lot of not your daughter's jeans, let me know down below. I'm still trying to figure out which ones are the best to pick up. I see them fairly often at thrift stores, and unless it's like a high-rise distress, a boyfriend, something like that, I don't really pick them up that often. So let me know down below if you guys sell a lot of not your daughter's jeans, if there's specific things that you're looking for. Vince, I actually accidentally accepted this offer. I probably could have gotten more for this. It was listed, it's a liquidation. So it was new with tags. It is still on their website and it's sold out. So I had multiple people asking me, hey, is this the same one on there? And then sending me an offer. I think I had it listed at like 160. And it's not even winter yet. So I think I probably could have gotten a little bit more for this. However, I was sent an offer for $100. I was out doing something and I didn't put two and two together that this is what this was for, and that, you know, it is probably in pretty high demand right now since it's on the website and sold out. I accepted it and then I got home and I was like, oh, but it's still $100. You know, it's a cashmere sweater, new with tags. This I found at the bins. It is also Vince. It is a sleeveless turtleneck. What's funny about this, if you guys are on eBay and you're scared of eBay and turning on returns, I sold this for $20 on eBay. They tried it on, it didn't fit. They sent it back to me. I relisted it. Within a week, it sold again for $5 more than it had originally sold for. So I'm not that scared of returns. Yes, it kind of sucks. You guys will see in my financial video, I had a lot of returns last month. That's going to happen as you're making more sales. You're going to have more returns in theory. My percentage for returns is between 3 and 5%. I'll look at it and tell you guys in the next, for September, what it ended up being, but that's what it typically is. Things typically sell again. If someone purchased it once, they're going to purchase it again. I sell women's clothing. I'm not going to buy something if I can't return it. I very rarely do return it, but I want the comfort to know that I can try it on and it may look nice here, but then, you know, kind of fits weird or whatever. Here's another Vince. This again, this also is a bins find. I found both of these together actually. So it's just a bins find. Vince sweater sold for $28.16. You can see the difference between liquidation and thrifted items. Something that is still on their website, new with tags and sold out, is going to sell a little bit higher, but I'm still making money. The Vince is still one of my top performing brands. Y'all, these, and I'm going to say full disclosure because these did have a return open for them. So they are in my dashboard as sold. I have not gone through and allocated out or reconciled my returns for the month. So be mindful of that. However, they did sell. And when they get returned, I'm confident that they're going to sell again. They did not sell at this $284. I was sent an offer for like $170 and I accepted it. Vince new with tags. They're 100% lamb leather. So that's why they're so expensive. Doc Martens, y'all, these are a bins find. And you can see here, these toes are scuffed. Like these are not, I mean, they're not in terrible condition, but they're definitely not in like new condition. And they sold within a day or two of listing. I found them at the bins for $80. I found them at the bins. I sold them for $80. I did not pay $80 at the bins. They probably cost me, you know, I don't know, maybe $2.50 at the bins because it's by weight. These sold, if you guys have been watching my what sold video, these sold the same day that I listed them for I'm going to say full price because I had them listed at $50 and someone used a coupon on them. So it wasn't an offer situation, but they did get a 10 or 20% discount, sold for $40. These ones, I was pretty excited to find these because raise your hand. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you have a pair of these? I was never fortunate enough to have a pair of Doc Martens. We didn't have a ton of money growing up. I did grow up thrifting and never found a pair thrifting, but I definitely had a pair knockoff of these. That style is back. If you grew up in the 90s Y2K era, what you wore is selling right now. So I was excited to find these because they sold very quickly and obviously at a high price. Here is that brand. These were a pair of jeans. They actually were new with tags. So I'm going to take that back as far as thrifted goes. I did get them thrifted, but they were new with tags. Nope, that's a lie because I have a stock photo. So I take all that back. These were liquidation palette. So both of these brands were liquidation palette. I think I've only found this brand once thrifting, and it definitely did not sell as high. So this was a offer that got sent to me, and I think they sold for $50. I'd had them for a little while. They were jeans, so I wasn't expecting them to sell over the summer, but I had them for a bit, so I did decide to take that offer. And then this is definitely what made that average sale price high. It is a 207, or it's like a $600. I probably have the brand. Oh yeah, it's covered up. It's probably like it's in a very expensive jacket. I'm not even gonna guess how much. I had it listed at $310. I had a sale running for it, and I think someone sent me an offer. It sold around $250. No, someone purchased this with a coupon, so they got the $10 off. If you bought a mystery box, I had 2 of these, and one of them had like a tear in it, so I sold it in a mystery box, and hopefully whoever purchased it was able to mend that and make a lot of money on it. If you guys like this video, YouTube thinks that you would also like this video. I will link some how to make money reselling videos here, and then do make sure to hit that subscribe button.